Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Reselling podcast. Welcome back. And today we'll discuss what I've been up to recently and kind of a few things I've been doing. So stay tuned.
Welcome to the Reseller Niche Podcast, a show for e-commerce buyers and sellers where we investigate unique items being bought and sold and show you how research equals knowledge equals profit.
Well, thanks for being here, first of all. And so what have I been up to recently? I guess first I should apologize for the delay. I know I've been saying for about 10 days to 2 weeks now that I'm going to put out an episode, and I haven't. But we basically actually did record an episode. It just didn't really work out too well, I should say. It's a very niche specific episode, and we recorded it and it fell flat. So we're kind of going to go back to the drawing board and figure out what we're going to do with that. Most likely, I'm actually going to have my wife come on board. It basically didn't work because it kind of felt like I needed somebody to bounce ideas off of, have a conversation back and forth with. So I'm going to kind of redraw that whole plan out. So stay tuned. That will be coming up hopefully in the next few weeks. So what else other than that? I guess a slight detour from reselling. If anyone out there is dealing with like the West Coast wildfires, I hope everyone's doing well. We've been very, very lucky up the Sacramento area. And other than, I guess, the air quality, everything else, I shouldn't say everything else, in our area has been specifically been good. We haven't actually had anything other than to stay in our homes when the air was bad. So knock on wood, hopefully, and that continues, and I hope this ends. I know it's the beginning of the wildfire season. I'm told it's going to last another 4 months. So kind of my heart goes out to anyone that's on the West Coast, anyone in Oregon, Washington, California, even other states too. So stay safe if you can. One thing we've been doing with that, actually, sorry to digress, is my wife has put together an entire kind of evacuation / wildfire kit that we're actually kind of have inside the house. We have one in the car and one on the side of the garage too. It's like got a battery powered emergency radio, like with Wi-Fi for emergency calls and finding out news, water, goods, canned stuff, obviously, clothes, what else? Flashlights, flares, a whole first aid kit, and we even figured out escape routes. How to get to the freeway, how to drive if you're not able to get to the freeway, that kind of stuff. And then, shelter evacuation addresses that we know of. We don't actually have, I don't know if we have them in place now. They keep changing because we actually haven't used them yet, but those are good to know. You need to know where you're going. And we spent a couple of days cleaning out all the grass and bush and stuff around the house that could light up. So that's what we were doing last week, actually, just kind of cleaning up, throwing out as much as we could, just in case. So hopefully you guys are doing well, and then we can get through this and not have to deal with this. I don't know. It's bad. But anyways, so other than that, I guess homeschooling, we've been doing that, e-homeschooling, I guess you should call it. And actually, that's been going really well. Kids basically do it on their own. They're so used to it now, since they've been doing it since March, that they just come down for a snack or something like that, and then we help them with their homework every now and then. But other than that, they know what they're doing. My question is, what's it going to be like when they go back to regular school and they actually have to see people in real life, do normal, homework assignments and assignments where you're actually writing on a piece of paper or with a pen, or doing a physical project, or PE or something normal like that. So we'll see. Hopefully this ends too as well. So anyways, why don't we get back to actually reselling type subjects here. So I thought I would go over what I've been doing reselling wise in the last, actually it's probably the last 6 months or so. I've been seeing a lot of people that are talking about bulk buys. So that's kind of what I was doing. I was, and by bulk buys, I'm not using any website or anything like that does like huge pallets. I mean, I've done that in the past, but these are actually kind of, I should call them mini bulk buys. Local ones and online ones, a lot of eBay. I'd say mainly eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and local type buys, Craigslist or OfferUp, that type of thing. Mainly what I've been buying has been video games, action figures, a lot of clothing, and some kind of random things like one. This is probably actually more than 6. This is probably going on a year. I bought a lot of postcards. It was actually at a thrift store, I believe. It was only $25 or something like that. But it was like 1,000. I think it's more than 1,000. Actually, I haven't even counted them all. I know I counted at least 1,000. So that's how I listed it. And that went for over 400. So I was happy with that. Postcards kind of puzzle me. I've done a lot of research on how to sell postcards, how to package them, which ones to look for, all that kind of thing. I still know very little. So if anyone out there knows more, I'd love to hear about it. There's a couple of really good guys on YouTube that know their stuff. I don't. I just bought this because I saw 2 postcards that seemed like they're from Hong Kong. And that seems to be something that's quite popular from what I've heard. Don't take that from me. I'm terrible with postcards, but these sold, it took a year nearly or thereabouts to sell. And I'm sure I undervalued them, but they sold as a lot. I tried initially selling them individually. I sold maybe 3, maybe 5. And the most expensive postcard went for, I think, $9 or $10 shipped. And one of those 5 actually came back because they said that they got, it wasn't what they wanted or something like that. So they returned it. So after that, I said, I'm not going to do individual postcards anymore. And then that was when I basically listed as a lot. And I just said, forget this. And it sat at this lot for over 6 months now. And then it went, so that was good. So other than that, most of my bulk buys, like I said, are clothing, toys, video games, that type of thing. I source them locally. I actually have a bulk buy that's coming up locally. Fingers crossed next week or so. It's clothing, mainly 99% clothing. And it's going to be something that it's going to be in the Bay Area. So it's about 100 miles away from me. And the way I figure out, I kind of break down bulk buys by, if it includes shipping, if it's going to include a lot of time, like, how far am I going to have to drive? Like this one's going to be about 100 miles from me. So it's about a tank of gas, which is about $40. It should include my time as well. But I didn't in the calculation for this one. So let me give you a breakdown of what this one looks like. Let's see here. Supposedly it's 99% clothing, 1% action figures and toys. That's what he said. I've seen, he sent me like 10 pictures, mainly of clothing, Patagonia tees, sweaters, North Face jackets and hoodies. What else was there? He had Under Armour shirts, like workout shirts, Nike. It seems like an ex-reseller. Someone I bought from several times before. So he's moving. So he's got a lot of the stuff that he just doesn't have the room for. So supposedly it's $300 total. My gas, let's just say my gas is probably about $40. I'll just say $50. So $350 all in works out to about 70 cents a piece, give or take. my math is correct there. So that's kind of what I look for. I look for less than $1 a piece for whatever I'm selling. And if it can go for 20, 30, that is great. And then worst case scenario, if I have to drop the price, if it sits for too long, I can do that rather than buying, $5, $10 a piece and really having no margin at all. So I'm probably going to negotiate this one down. He's a really good guy. I've probably bought from him once a month for the last 2 or 3 years, and everything from clothing to action figures to video games to jackets, shoes even. He used to sell a lot of Nike shoes. Just somebody that buys and sells a lot as well, and that just kind of offloads their extra stuff. So that's fine with me. I don't buy that much. So I'm probably going to negotiate down. I'm going to aim for $250 and see what happens. Obviously, if this, I'm sorry, I don't know if I said this, but it's supposed to be 500 pieces total. And if that is correct, then that's good to go. Then again, 500 pieces could be, 100 pieces of garbage. You never know. Filler, undesirable clothing, Target, Walmart type stuff. But you never know. If it's cheap enough, it's worth my time. I'm going to go and see it next week. And then I'll report back to see how well that went. If that did, then I have a lot of inventory to list, because I only have my main store is about 1,700 items. I haven't looked at it today, but it was just shy of 1,700 items anyway. So it's going to go up by quite a bit there. So just one thing, if you guys are into bulk buys, if you've done any bulk buys, I'd love to hear about it. Or actually, regardless of that, even if you haven't, whatever you're selling, if you could leave us a message or a question or comment or anything, if you just go to our main page, which is, our anchor page, anchor.fm/reseller-niche. So that way you can leave us a message. It's a voice message. We may play it on air, so please remember that. And we'd love to hear from you and hear whatever comments you have about my boring rambling and whatever you're doing. I want to hear about what you're selling, what you're not, because that's how we all learn. So let me give you another example of what this isn't a typical one, but this is a really good one that I did about 6 weeks ago. I always scout eBay for buys. I like auctions, not because I like waiting for an auction, but a lot of times they'll have the buy it now option as well. So they'll have it, 99-cent auction. You have to wait 7 days, but maybe you can buy it for $100 or $50, whatever it is. So this guy had a 99-cent auction, but he had to buy it now at like $40 or $35 and $6 shipping. And it was listed as random toy lot. So that's something I look for. Anything that's random, anything that's vague, anything that it underdescribes what it actually is. That's the best. And so I went into the description, and the description had it listed as 5 G.I. Joe figures. And that was it. Great. Another vague. I guess this kind of descriptive. But when I looked at them, they weren't. They were completely wrong. They're actually 5 vintage Mattel figures. They were Big Jim and Barbie figures, 5 of them. They weren't in the best condition, but they were definitely not G.I. Joe figures. And so that was exciting for me, because then that buy it now. So obviously, I bought it immediately. That first figure, it was actually a Barbie figure, went for over 140, 150 shipped within 24 hours. And I'm going to do a video, I think, on action figures moving forward, and because that's kind of become a big part of my store right now, going through action figures, random lots, this type of thing. But anyway, so this was not a typical score for me, but I'm finding them more and more. So far out of that lot, I spent $46. I think that didn't include the tax, though. I know eBay throws in a couple dollars for tax, so that will be on top of that. But it was $150 for one of the figures. I sold another one for $50 and another one for $40, I believe. So, and I still have some left. So that one went pretty well. Usually it's not as easy as that, but there's a couple things that I like to do when I'm searching for online, online eBay auctions or online eBay lots. People always talk about misspellings. Misspellings are great if you know what you're looking for. For example, Mattel spelled incorrectly, or Hasbro like Hasbo or something like that, that kind of stuff. But even more specific than that, I like to kind of go the opposite way. When someone is saying something like toy lot or shirt lot or grab bag of random stuff or random lot, something like that. When I'm looking in a specific category, I like to do that. So I'll niche down. I'll go into, I don't know, t-shirts, or I'll go into video games or action figures. And within that, I'll search for random lots, specifically the words random lot or something like that. And then I'll go in, I'll look in the descriptions, I'll look at the pictures. A lot of times there'll only be like one or two pictures. If they're usually that lazy that they won't write an entire title, I doubt they're going to take that many pictures. But every now and then, even if the pictures are bad, you can send them a message and say, you know what, can you send me another picture? What exactly are these? And a lot of times they are people that don't sell that. Like this guy that was selling this was an electronics seller, or no, he sold tools. And you could see it because even the picture that he took was on a wooden table and you could see tools in the background. So what I do is I look for that type of lot. And then with him, I didn't have to ask him any questions. I could see everything because the two pictures he had are actually good enough for me to tell what they were. But even if they're not, you can always email them. You can ask them. I always try and look and see how long it's been listed for. Has it been there for a while? For example, if it's an auction that's running down, it has 0 bidders, that may or may not be a good sign, because a lot of times people are kind of watching, or like me, I don't even watch. I just kind of save it and then I just go in and cite. But there's lots of different ways you can research if you're willing to look in the description, if you're willing to look at the pictures and really look at what they have there. Because a lot of times people are just trying to clear things out, especially these days. This guy didn't care. And he actually had a second lot of like accessories and stuff. So that's another thing I do. If somebody has, let's just say they have a lot that's averagely priced, it's not very good at all. You got these jackets priced for $50 and it goes for, not much more than that. Go through their store, see if they have a couple of other things that you can bundle in together. You can turn this into a bulk lot just by going through somebody's store. So in this case, what I did with him, even though I got I think a pretty good deal on this, he had another box of accessories. So I said, hey, can you, I messaged him and said, I'll take the other box of accessories you have for $10 and can you ship those together? And he did. So basically I didn't pay the shipping for the other one. I got the other one for like minimal cost and I was able to get those two together. And I do that a lot too. So what I'll do is then I'll go in through somebody's store, and eBay does a great job at not really advertising stores. So as an eBay store is not really an eBay store. It's kind of just an eBay list. So I go in and I'll see what they are selling. And like I said, I love it if they are not a full-time seller of whatever that specific product is. Like this guy sold tools. He had like 50 listings. 2 of them were toys and action figures. So those are the 2 I looked at. I said, hey, can I have these? He said, yes, done. So if you're willing to put in the time, that's the best. Another thing I like to do is I like to do it at random hours. I'm up late and I'm up early, depending on how much work I did the previous day. I like to see if I can find people that are like I'm on the West Coast, so I look for people on the East Coast, and I like to message them early or late, depending on when I'm up. So there are less people on at the same time. Also, I like to look at recently listed items. And for some reason, sometimes people just list randomly at random times. Like I bought stuff from people that just listed at 1:30 a.m. in the morning. So I message them immediately, hey, would you take $30 for that $50, video game? And a lot of times they'll say yes if you act immediately, and just say something like, I'll pay immediately. And I do. And then, so these kind of things help. Just kind of going between the lines, kind of reading the descriptions, looking at the pictures, finding the stuff that's maybe not perfectly pictured, maybe not perfectly described, the title's wrong, misspellings as well. And then set yourself up with a couple of keywords to look for. I have a list of them, and you can just build them based on whatever your niche is, whatever you'd like to sell. And then kind of go from there. So that's what I've been up to for the last 6 months or so. I've been doing a lot of research. Like I said, a lot of action figures, and I'll go into that later on. I also do it with video games, and I also do it with clothing, because people love to misspell words like Patagonia. I've seen North Face. I mean, it's not even misspelling a lot of times. Sometimes people just type too fast. So whatever. Under Armour is spelled incorrectly a lot of times. There's there's probably thousands of possible keyword misspellings that you could save and just kind of write your own book of, to be honest. So that's another thing. Save your searches. Save searches are an immense time saver. There's so many times where I've searched something and I didn't save it, and I'm like, what was I looking for again? Wait, what was that? Then you have to go back in. You have to, hopefully you bought it, or you at least have a save in there somewhere you can look it up. But the main thing is to save these searches, to save your time, to save your research time so you can research something else. So anyways, I'm beginning to ramble here, so I'm going to end it right here. I just wanted to thank you guys for listening, and let you know that we will be putting out more episodes more frequently. And hopefully we'll get those other episodes that I was talking about up with more specific topics. So like I said earlier, if you would like to leave us a message, please do go to our Anchor page, anchor.fm/reseller-niche. I know, basically just look us on Anchor and just type in reseller niche, and you should be able to find it. Right on the front, there's a message button. Click on that and you can leave a voicemail, I believe it is. I've never done it myself, but I think it's a voice message. We'd love to have some of those so we can play them on air. If you have a question, comment, whatever it is, please go ahead. And then if also, we do have a Facebook page. It's kind of not been used too much in the last year, but we are going to revamp it. Reseller Niche Help on Facebook. And if you could leave us a rating or feedback or comment, a question on Apple iTunes, or wherever you get your podcast, that would be great. These ratings really help us move up in the charts. But other than that, thanks for listening. And until the next one, we will talk. Bye-bye. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to the Reseller Niche Podcast. Show notes and social media links are located at resellerniche.com. Please comment, rate, and subscribe to us on iTunes or YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.